So let's see what we have here. I guess I gotta open it this way. What is this? Oh, it's already open. Cool. No, it's not open. It's okay. I have a handy dandy knife. Alright, and here they are. These are the rear ones. Wow, these are a lot thicker than the stock ones. So these are the stock shock absorbers, and these are the new ones, so you can tell just how much thicker they are. And then once again, like I said, these are adjustable for harder or firmer ride. If you do buy adjustable shocks, just remember when you make your adjustment, it takes about 20 miles for the adjustment to kick in. So that being said, don't do a couple clicks and then go on and drive, and then you know, go on a short drive and then decide they're too firm or too soft, and then adjust them again. Give it about 20 miles for the firmness to kick in, and then go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and fit these. I also have two for the front, of course, as I did all four. These are actually lowered shocks. And the reason being for that, if you buy the stock or the stock height shocks, they're actually going to be too high. The reason being is that these cars run on suspension cones, and if the cone is collapsed, if it's an older cone, it's going to be collapsed, and the car's naturally going to be lower. So if you're replacing the cone and then put a lowered shock on it, that's where you're going to have issues. But if you have old cones and you put a lowered shock absorber on it, you're going to be fine. And you actually want that because you're going to have more travel in the shock absorber itself. Because you're going to be riding like this, and it's still going to have this much to compress, as opposed to a standard shock where it's going to stop up here and you're already riding here, so you're not going to have very much travel. I also bought a high-low kit for the front end. The back end I like where the height is, so I'm going to leave it. But I did buy a high-low for the front because the front is a little low, as you can tell, for taking bumps and stuff like that. The tire comes up and touches the fender well, which I do not like. Alright, and we're back with replacing the shock absorber here. One thing you want to do, of course, is to compress. Or the first thing you want to do is go ahead and compress that shock absorber. Now to do that, you want to find the right place to jack up on your drum. Okay. You want to take some of the weight off of the shock absorber, of course, so that way you can get to the top bolt and remove it without this completely slamming down, or you just want to keep it compressed. It makes it easier to change out the shock absorber. Now when you place the jack, you don't want to put it on the outer metal ring that you'll see if you do have drums. You don't want to place it on the outer metal ring, because if you bend that, it'll actually bend into the drum and cause rubbing. So you want to make sure it's on the hard cast on the outside of the drum. So you just want to go ahead and give it a couple cranks. Now you have the compression released off the shock absorber, so you can take a 9/16 bit and go to remove the two nuts that support the shock absorber, the one on the inside of the trunk, and then one here on the bottom, just behind the drum. Okay, now inside the drum here, you see you have the 9/16 bolt that you need to remove. So go ahead and get a deep well socket, that way you can remove it. Alright, and there we are. Now since we're replacing all of these bushings here, we're actually going to take all those out as well. And you might be able to get it free with your hand. If you can't, then you're going to need to use a flathead screwdriver. And then the next bolt is going to be, like I said, right behind the drum. You're going to see it just here. In my case, since I went ahead and I'm going for the taking the weight off of the suspension, or the weight off the shock absorber, You can see my rear subframe is in the way, so I'm not going to be able to get a socket in there. So I'll just go ahead and use a 9/16 wrench. Alright, I got the old one off, and just for a comparison, you can see the difference between the old one and the new one. The new one has a lot thicker of a shaft down here, and the cup that it comes down is obviously going to be bigger because the shaft is. Also, it's got the adjustable here, and then you can see the height difference just a little. Now for every millimeter, it's different here. As far as the total length, it equals about a 5 millimeter travel distance, which is the same for the front. If your front suspension is a little loose, every millimeter that it's loose, you're going to lose about 5 millimeters between the top of the wheel and the arch. So just keep that in mind whenever you're adjusting your suspension on your Mini. Alright, so I got the new one in. It definitely looks like this, like the drum is closer to the wheel arch here. Might need some adjusting. I went ahead and cranked it up to a 10. I don't know how many settings are on it exactly, but a 10 felt pretty firm just by pushing it in. It was definitely firmer than the stock. So I'm going to go ahead and go with a 10. I might bump it up to a 15. We'll see how it goes. But there it is.